You can go ahead. I've started recording.
Well, I already know.
Yes, please. Go on.
Okay. Good evening. The name for this and the reason for that being is we're all hungry for success as a team. Next slide, please. My name is Mohammed Alasso. I'm one of the team of Wolves. Next slide, please. I'll be leading this sprint demo. Eight, to build a website for Prep Major where instructors and tutors can add courses at a reduced price and students be able to add courses they want to enroll for. Next slide, please. Our sprint goal is to build functionality for the header and the footer menu. PBI is committed to this sprint, as you can see below, and we have achieved all of them. Next slide, please. This is our metric to show you our progress on this, as you can see. Next slide, please. Our Azure DevOps board, as you can see in that column done, those are all the PBIs we had assigned, achieved our target. As you can see in the picture, we're celebrating. Next slide, please. This is our team wiki. As you can see, we've been updating it as we go along the way. There. Next slide, please. This is our Jira. You can see our stories. Everyone's been working on their story. Yeah, there's not much to say about the Jira board. The team's been using it well. Next slide, please. This is our team retrospect. As you can see, there's 3 columns. My favorite column is the one that says, what can we improve on? Well, my favorite is because we've had a lot of great feedback that helped us to progress as a team for changes and amendments. Next slide, please. These are our Scrum Master tasks. As you can see, facilitate Scrum ceremonies, the daily stand-up, backlog refinements, sprint planning, sprint review, and retro. What we've done this sprint is removed impediments such as team had by having effective communication, having understanding with respect. We clarified access to our ADM, to our Azure DevOps, and coach the team on Jira and the fundamentals of Jira and the Azure Wiki. Next slide, please. Sprint gains. This is what I'm proud of. We improved as a team, improved team dynamics and collaboration. Our POs, BAs, QAs, and developer meetings together. Team confidence, responsibilities, better understanding of Scrum methodology and Agile principles, and ideas to the team from myself and the whole team. Next slide, please. This is our definition of ready, what we came together as a team to define. So definition ready is to complete and understand by the whole team, Gherkin, syntax, and with a wireframe. The definition to the PBIs is complete and a manual test has been executed at least. Everyone.
Hi, good evening. My name is Rachel Balogun. I'm a QA on Team Twilight, and I am the lead for this sprint. I refer to us as excellent enforcers. Next slide, please. So the improvements that we have done, we have this sprint from the last retrospective, was each QA was allocated a PBI for accountability, not just making sure that the job is done, but also where we can support each other and move forward as a team. We have regular group meetings with just our QAs on the team, support calls, and we've established more communication with our mentors and buddies, as that was an issue raised in the retrospective. Our team has become more confident and able to speak up during that refinement to raise any concerns that they had. And we've also improved on communication with the BAs and the dev team. Next slide, please. Our performance this sprint, we've attended daily stand-up, and we've been able to raise impediments that we've had in our team, conflict that we've had in our group that's been solved with the help of our Scrum Masters. We've been able to simplify complex PBIs and raise bugs and have them resolved in a timely manner and also meet our deadlines. Next slide, please. Development this sprint, we have been working on our personal development and CV review on the Jira board, and that is going well. Next slide, please. And our accomplishments this sprint, we've been able to keep tasks short and simple to avoid missing deadlines in case bugs need to be raised and fixed as QAs. We have the understanding of the definition of ready and done, and we've been adhering to that. We've able to implement sprint planning and estimation to keep within the time frame of the work that needs to be done. Next slide, please. And the training we have done this sprint, we've been introduced to automation testing tools, Maven, Java, and IntelliJ. We've also installed the tools and the necessary plugins, Cucumber for Java and Gherkin, for example. And we've also tested the terminal just to make sure that the software has been installed correctly and ready for us to move on in the next sprint. That's all from me.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Oladotun Koyejo, representing BAs for Twilight team. Next slide, please. Yeah, we have some trainings and activities. We start the sprint by with a review of sprint 1, followed by sprint 2 planning. The mandate of the sprint 2 is to build functionalities for the header and footer menus created in sprint 1. The PBI is committed to sprints were completed with 2 failing QA tests and bug raised. These were dealt with accordingly and passed the second QA testing. Next slide, please. Continuation of our trainings and activities. We started to work on new features and assignment for sprint 3, which is site navigation panel with 10 new PBIs. We created and allocated all PBIs among the team members and started writing the user story and acceptance criteria for the new PBIs in preparation for sprint 3. Next slide, please. Milestones. We have 6 PBIs passed under user acceptance test and moved to AUT done in sprint 2. This is a picture showing what we've done. Next slide, please. This is our Jira board to update, to show the progress made with the career development. We have all been working on our career development, and this is a picture to show what we've done so far. Next slide, please. We updated our Azure Wiki repository page and Microsoft Teams repository folder, under which we have definition of some of what we have been using, which is some coaching section, coaching tasks, team chatter, tech depth, BA repository, and tools of a BA and values of a BA, Agile principle, and the rest. Next slide, please. We have our retrospectives and all the point raised under what can we will improve on were reviewed and appropriate actions were taken. Next slide, please. This is a picture showing the landing page of our login page on while we are doing the test environment. Next slide, please. This is the team dashboard showing the progress made for the sprint so far. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Busayo Ogunjiro. I'm the team lead for data analysis for Sprint 2. Next slide, please. So this is a sprint report. Next slide, please. So we have our content. Next slide, please. So we were able to work on improving technical skill using Excel. So we were able to use a pivot table, which is a powerful tool to calculate, summarize, and analyze data for comparison, pattern and trend in database management. Next slide, please. So we're able to present our information on graphs, chart, through pile of chart, bar of chart, making business insight for key business decision making. Next slide, please. So we're able to work on VLOOKUP, which is vertical lookup referencing functions in Excel to retrieve column-wise data, as well as working on each lookup, which is horizontal lookup used to retrieve row-wise data. Next slide, please. So we're able to practice SQL querying data using basic function like select, insert, update, database management, as well as practicing and using filtering, displaying aggregate value, where we're able to work on using where clause, having clause, order by, and group
10
by
minutes
clause.
done.
Next slide, please. As well, I'll be able to visualize data through Tableau, developing and publishing data basis on Tableau. For instance, this shows the map of Europe, regional distribution mapping, where we can see London having big blue circle, which shows is kind of doing well, as well as having Poland, which shows big red dot, which shows it's not doing too fine. Next slide, please. So we're able to get customer scatter plot, where we're able to identify customers. Next slide, please. So this is a dashboard, one of the dashboards that we were able to publish on Tableau Public. Next slide, please. So for the team collaboration activity of these, we're able to attend team meetings, retrospective, as well as attending daily stand-ups, participating in sprint planning on Azure board, as well as attending a support call, general meeting, and career development on Jira board, as well as refinement. Next slide, please. So this is the Azure board for the DAs, where we're able to write our stories for Excel, Tableau, and SQL. Thank you. And this is the end of our presentation. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you from Team Twilight. AKA Pack of Wolves.
And we're done. Thank you, guys.
Allow me.
Thank you so much. Sorry. Thank you so much, Twilight. That was nice to see. And Mohammed, I liked your swag. So I'll just go to the next. So I'll just go to the next team. So the next team for tonight will be Magnum. Magnum. Are you guys ready? Please share your screen. Okay, thank you.
Hello, good evening, this is Team Magnum. So we'll start with this. We're saying stop dreaming and start doing as a team. Then the 8 PMs are not present, so I'll be presenting for them, Water and Tosin. They defined waterfall. They said that's where we have to take one position before the next one. That's requirement, system design, implementation. Then Agile is where you start, you plan, design. Then if there's a mistake or if you have to correct, you can go back again and start again. Then they created the Blue Sky Citadel organogram. They also created one for the group, within the group. That's where each role reports to. Then they made the budget for the team, what it costs to create a website. Then the sprints plan for the sprints, that's the task, the deliverables, how the executive the phase and each to the point of closure. Then in the initial phase, you have the tasks, the deliverables that are needed. Examples of the tasks that needed is the project team, creating business case, creating project charter, identifying scope of work, then the deliverable organogram, the RAID. Then at the implementation stage, that's where we create maps, create wireframes, a deliverable wireframes as well. Task or closure. Thank you. Sorry.
Good evening. I'm Raymond, BA on Team Magnum. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. These are some of our highlights as BAs for Sprint 2. We were able to refine some of our stories, meet the PO for requirements ahead of Sprint 3, we populate the backlog with 11 new PBIs. Next slide, please. This is one of our stories ahead of Sprint 3 for the navigation panel. Next slide, please. This is another story of ours for the cookie policy menu and for Contact Us. Next slide, please. It's a story for the search bar. Next slide, please. This is our Azure board where you can see some of the stories that we've uploaded. Next slide, please. And some more. Next slide, please. This is our process case. Next slide, please. And just some challenges in the sprint communication amongst the BAs, and then our elicitation meeting was quite late on in the sprint to nobody's fault, but that's just how it was just a bit of a challenge, and that's us from the BAs. Thank you.
1 minute, please. Could you go back to the process map, please? Thank you. Okay, thank you. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Thank
Good
you.
evening. My name is Abidemi. I'm one of the QAs, the Magnum group. Next slide, please. And yeah, this is basically a summary of what we've done. We had 9 PBIs, and we wrote 26 test cases, we ran 24 tests and raised 19 bugs. Next slide, please. And this is basically like a breakdown of that. Basically looking at all the PBIs and details of how many of those PBIs have moved to Dawn in UAT. Currently in QA, we've got 3, and then we have 1 in QA Dawn. We have 3 in UAT and 2 in Dawn. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this is basically just showing our Azure board as well. Next slide, please. And yeah, of course, we ran tests. This is also just showing the page from which we ran the test. Next slide. And yeah, same, just showing another test that was being run. Next slide. Yeah, and this is basically the sites where we're running our test and check-in. And the next slide, please, that will show what it looks like when we find the defect, comparing it with the wireframe. Next slide, please. Yeah, and this is when we've created the bug, what it looks like. Next slide. And yeah, this is one bug that we have also highlighted, basically on become an instructor sign up. Next slide, please. And of course, we learned about automation. We started installation of Java, Maven, IntelliJ, and this is just basically just showing snapshots from that installation process. Next slide. Yeah, and then of course, us learning the basics. You moved too fast. You need to go like 2 slides backwards, please. Yeah, okay. And of course, this is like the is when we're learning. Next slide, please. It's for Java, and then this is our repository as well. Just a snapshot from that, and some, just populating that. Next slide. And our impediments were, along the line. I in particular had the issue where, I deleted a path mistakenly from the environment while setting up the environment variables. So that was a bit of an impediment trying to get the Java set up as well. Also, our QAs were we're trying to work better with, having our meetings. We're not able to effectively achieve that 100% as we would have loved to in this sprint. And then also impediments with not having all our team members or most representatives at DSUs at some point in the sprint as well. And that's it for us from the QA. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Ayola. I'll be representing the DEA for the Magnum team. Next slide, please. So here we've got the visualization on Tableau, which shows the map of the sales in Europe, and we've got the customer scatter plots, which shows the profit and loss. Next slide, please. So here we have the scatter plots also on Tableau, So in this session, we're taught about assisting the board of directors in identifying which business represents the best investment opportunities. So we've got the 10 top startup companies, and the growth leader is a parameter that can be used to adjust the number of startups required by the board of directors. Next slide, please. So here for the Excel session, we're taught on how to use the filter and sorting options and how to apply them in our data. So we're taught how to create pivot tables, as well as to use it to analyze data by finding the sales per person. Next slide, please. So here we've got some visuals which shows pivot tables and other charts which we've got on Excel, the pie charts, the column charts, the pie of a pie chart, and the line charts. Next slide, please. So here we have the VLOOKUP and the HLOOKUP, which we use to search for specific value in the first column of a data set. That's for the VLOOKUP. And the HLOOKUP has to do with the row. Next slide, please. So here we have the HLOOKUP, which is the opposite of the VLOOKUP. We attain to the row, that's the row index number. Next slide.
Hello, good evening. My name is Adita Mola Ojerindia. I'm representing the Scrum Master. The project name we're working on is Instructor's Journey to Prep Major, and our sprint started on the 10th of July and it's ending today. The planned activities for the sprint, based on what on the committed stories, social media icons, footer, banner, header, welcome message, home menu, login menu, privacy policy, sign up menu, become an instructor. And these ones asterisks came from the previous sprint, so they were the ones that were what's it called? Then this is the pie chart of the work that has been done. So the 12.5% of the work was completed in this sprint. Then 31.3% was still in UAT, it's not been completed. Then in QA is 56.3%. These are burn-up charts. So it seems like on the 19th, according to this chart, you notice that it went up, our scope of work increased because DAs added some more work to be committed in this sprint. So it kind of improved, it increased. And the green part shows the part that we've completed. Well, not really complete most of the work. Then these are velocity charts metrics. Then this is our capacity there based on the people available in the team. So they committed 3 hours per day doing these sprints. And this is Jira.
10 minutes go.
Okay, sorry. These are Jira. This is story that we worked on. These are the stories we created we're working on the sprints in Jira. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Magnum. Thank you for that. I just wanted to reconfirm. Do you have ADMs on call? Those were the first people you presented for, right?
Yes, they are not
None
present.
of them was on call.
No.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, Magnum. So we'll be going to the Platinum. Platinum, do you want to share your screen, please? Thank you. Boy Scouts, be ready. Go ahead. We can't hear you if you okay.
Hi, good evening. I'm Abdi. I'm one of the Scrum Masters from Team Platinum. So our name for this project is, for this demo is Light. And the Scrum Masters in my team are Brenda, Amanda, John, and Akin. Sorry, my slides are not, yeah. So this is our table of contents. We've got the project mandate, sprint goal, task for sprint 2, Azure board, metrics, our RACI metrics, a retrospective and feedback for sprint 2. So our project mandate and sprint goal for this project was, the project mandate was to create an e-learning platform where students and tutors can interact. Our sprint goal was to develop the footer menus, items and authorization, which includes sign up and login features. Our tasks for the sprint were the Scrum ceremonies, which included the sprint planning, daily stand-up, refinement, sprint review, and sprint retrospective. For our development, we've done our career development planning using Jira. We had some SM workshops and meetings with our mentors. Some of the impediments we faced were we resolved some conflicts, resolving impediments and escalating impediments. So on our Azure board, we had 5 PBIs committed this sprint. We currently have 1 in committed, 2 that are still in dev, and 3 in QA. So we haven't completed any PBIs this sprint. One of our developers was absent this sprint and the matter was escalated to the PO. For our metrics, our burn down chart shows the remaining work in the project, which is 36. And our burn up chart shows the total scope of the project and the work that has been completed. We currently have only 1 PBI from the previous sprint completed. This is our RACI metrics. It just shows who's responsible, accountable, consulted and informed over the project, over the sprint, sorry. Yesterday we had our retrospective. We went over what went well, what didn't go well, and what we could improve. We then voted on what items and feedback we should include in our action plan for sprint 3. So the feedback for sprint 2 was to improve communication within the Scrum team, encourage the Scrum team to be more productive, meet with the SM mentors more often, complete Scrum ceremonies refinement on time, and improve meeting attendance. I want to hand you over to the BAs. Hafsat.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hafsat. I'm a lead BA in Sprint 2 at Platinum Team. Next slide, please. So for the BAs, our activity in Sprint 2 centered on user story creation, requirement elicitation, refinement, and sprint planning. As a result of this, we're able to populate our board with stories, some of which were committed and some at approved and BA done. Next slide, please. This shows our board is quite busy because we try to work on stories ahead. So we have stories for Sprint 3 already in the pipeline, waiting for it to be committed to Sprint. Next slide, please. For our learning highlights, with the help of our mentor, Adebimpe, she took us back on Visio training to enable us get a better image and presentation as a visualization tool for our stories. We also learned on business case, which is necessary as a formal document to justify the rationale for proposed projects or initiative. It looks at the benefit, cost, risk, and time involved in projects. Next slide, please. This is a use case diagram which we did on one of our stories, which is a prep major logon. And then the wireframe was also intensified training on it because our definition of done as the BAs for our stories was to have a process map and a wireframe attached to each story. This was basically our highlights for Sprint 2. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Evie. My other team members are Dorcas, Ade, Tolu, and Mercy. Next slide, please. This is our table of content. Test case development, bug identification and reporting, test automation framework, personal growth. Next slide, please. This is one of the test cases we designed and executed. Verify that the footer is viewable at the bottom of the landing page, and this is how to navigate about it. Next slide, please. This is a bug we raised. If you look at following the acceptance criteria, the contact us link is supposed to be displayed at the footer menu. When navigating to the site, the link is located at both the header menu and the footer menu. So it was a bug. Next slide, please. test automation framework. We were able to install our IntelliJ IDE, our Java, our Maven, and also we installed some plugins like Cucumber for Java, Gherkin. Also, we set up our PON, our testing IG, and the test runner Java. Next slide, please. Personal growth and achievements. We're able to navigate around our Azure DevOps. We have been able to improve personally by designing positive and negative test cases, and also executing the design test cases. And we also set up our test automation framework. This is all for Sprint 2. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Deji. I'll be representing the DAs for Sprint 2. Next slide, please. So this sprint, we were introduced to Microsoft Excel, and we continued on Tableau and SQL. We continued from the last sprint. Next slide, please. So this is Excel. Using the function filter for sorting. So we use filter for sorting. We use the pivot table. We use the slider function also, and we did pivot chart and chart itself. So this image you are seeing here is us playing around with the filter. Next slide, please. This image here is using the pivot table to sort and filter. Next slide, please. This image here shows a continuation of using the pivot chart and then application of the chart function to present data. So so next slide, please. Yeah, this is a continuation of is demonstrating with Excel how to use line, pie chart, and bar chart to present data. Next slide, please. And this is the final product of the bar chart, the line chart, the pie chart, pie by pie, and pie by bar. Next slide, please. This is using the function VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, lookup rather, for data analysis. We use this image demonstrates how we use the VLOOKUP to combine some tables together. And next slide, please. And a continuation of that. Next slide, please. And this image shows how we use the lookup to identify some data within a table. Next slide, please. This is Tableau. This is using the join relationship function to join two tables that have like similar columns. Next slide, please. This is just using the map function for data analysis. So this one shows profit ratio by geography. Next slide, please. This is using the scatter plot to also analyze data by region, maybe by region or whatever. So this just shows customer performance, and the other shows the organization performance. Next slide, please.
10 minutes gone.
Yeah, so this is using table to show key performance indicators in Tableau. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is building a dashboard. So this is one of the dashboards I was able to build during some of the lectures and some of my personal training that I did. So next slide, please. So this is SQL. This is just writing some queries for sorting data also. So we're taught how to use the select from, and functions like distinct, aggregate functions like add, multiplication, and so on. We're also taught how to use the where clause, concatenate, the group by functions, the having, and other function, other clauses rather. So these are just images showing some of those queries that we wrote. Next slide, please. This is another one showing the queries, some of the queries we wrote. Next slide, please. This is another one showing some of the queries we wrote. We had some assignments, so yeah, so we had, I just did a couple of shots of some of them. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, next slide, next slide, next slide, next slide. That's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Platinum. That was lovely to see also. Thank you so much, everyone. And Ayodeji, you really cracked me up on the H hookup. I really cracked up. It's really a tongue twister, so I understand. Thank you so much, everyone. So we'll go to the last team, Dynamite. This is serious.
Hello, hi, I'm Temi. You're welcome to today's presentation. Our team name is Team Pacesetter. We are running towards our goal. The Sprint 2 started on the 10th of July to 23rd of July. And here are the names of the Scrum Masters. The project mandate is to design an e-learning website for students to interact with other students in order to access the course information. Our Sprint 2 goal is to authenticate the sign up and login functionalities, and that's the sprint period. Here's our Sprint 2 report. We have about 5 stories that are done. That's the user ID, the 5146. The title, we have the header design, we have the logo, we have the validate login, we have the contact us, and we have the terms and conditions. And those are the efforts that was put into them, and all the status, they are all completed. The highlights of the Sprint 2, 10 stories was committed to the sprint, and 5 was completed. All uncompleted stories will spill over and it will be prioritized in the next sprint. And here is a team capacity showing those that are doing working, the QAs and the developers, and the number of hours they are working per day. Sprint 2 key points. In the Sprint 2, we'll add sprint Scrum ceremonies that comprises of the sprint planning, the sprint refinements, the sprint retrospective, the daily stand-up, which some the members of the teams attend. But we also had career developments using JIRA. We have a sprint review, and we also have resolving and escalating impediments. And here's the Sprint 2 bond and chart. You can see the bond and chart, the total scope increase and the work done. And here's the Sprint 2 bond up chart and the bond down chart. You can see the numbers of work completed. In the bond up, 11% completed, in the bond down, 30% completed. And here's the velocity chart showing how it's showing us the capacity of the work, the completed work and the incomplete work. And here shows the number of work that was passed and the ones that failed the test. And here's the JIRA board showing, because we use the JIRA board for career development, and team members worked also on the JIRA board for the career development. We also had a retrospective year. The team members get to decide to say their mind on what went well during the sprint, what didn't go well, and how we can improve. And we have a lot of comments, and I should just screenshot them, and that is it there. And this is our wiki page for the team. The challenges we faced during the Sprint 2, there was no good, effective communication. Some were not attending the daily stand-up meetings. Some sharing of views collectively, and generally lack of communication with PO, developers, and also with the team members. Those are the challenges which faced. And the goals for our next sprint as a team, well, said we should communicate with each other effectively and also attend regular daily stand-up and also attend meeting with developers, with the mentors, with bodies and the PO. Thank you. BA.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Olusegun. So I'll be speaking on behalf of our group, BA. Yeah, next slide, please. So the past sprint in Sprint 2 gave us a good understanding, a good way to deepen our knowledge of the QOs of BAs. And these are some of the areas we were able to improve on personally and as a group. Next one. Okay, another key area is we were able to clarify this definition of ready, because it's been a very good, a very topical discussion in our group, and we were able to get some clarity through our mentor who helped us to get a better understanding of it. It's very crucial to us, so we were able to scale through that audit. Yeah, next please. So going to the business process tasks that we have, we were able to carry out some PBIs. We wrote 11 user stories, which are in BA presently. 4 of them are in BA done, and we were able to commit more. At least 9 of them were beyond beyond being committed. So we take it that this is a screenshot of our showboard, just to get a clear a view of what we're able to do in the second sprint. Next, please. Yeah, this is an example of how we're able to connect our PBIs with the epic and feature stories. Next one, please. Yes, an example of some of the stories we worked on is the one that focused on the login and sign up functions. We were able to present those user stories with their wireframes in order to make it give every member of the team a good understanding of what we're trying to do. Next one, please. We also backed it up with, in the case of the sign up and login process, we backed them up with process flow maps so that we can improve our understanding of how and what we're trying to do. Please, next one, please. As well, we have a use case diagram as well, just to support what we've been trying to, the idea that we're trying to present to ourselves as a group. That's very crucial as part of the definition of ready that we talked about. These are some of the conditions we included there. Let's go, please. So for the next one, which our PO has suggested that we'll be working on the students' dashboard, we started working on those. In Sprint 3, we already written like 11 user stories already for this next sprint starting tomorrow. And then we, based on how we've worked in the 2 previous sprints, we intend to use wireframes and process flow maps as well as use cases as the case may be. Thank you. This is just a presentation, a pictorial representation of the 2 features and that we're working on for the next sprint. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, we were able to learn about the business case as well from our mentor, who was able to give us a good understanding of what to do to know about business case. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Jordi Spofo, and I am the QA lead of Dynamite. And apart from me, as a QA, we also got like Deborah, Redwan, Rafiu, Julius, and Ganea. Next, please. Yeah, this is the different feature that we got in our Sprint 2 anyway, the goal of our sprint 2 was to validate the functionality of the below functionality feature. You can say the sign up, the contact us, and the login as well, and also to retest and do the regression testing of a certain feature that we didn't do during the sprint 1, like header design and the logo. Next, please. Yes, during this sprint, you raised about 5 bugs, and this is a stature of that bug. 2 was fixed and 3 still new. And in new, we got like 2 critical 1. Next, please. Yeah, yes, it's an example of the bug that we raised, and one of the critical 1 that block us to achieve our goal for this sprint. And here you can see the test case that failed. Next, please. Yes, here's our test plan for the sprint 2. As you can see, we got like on our test plan, we got like 4 feature to cover, and here is one. Here's just the different scenario of the test server signing up. Next, please. Yeah, also here's the sprint 2 test report, and here's just the report of the sign up, but we also got the test report for the footer design and also to the login and the contact us, but we couldn't put it here because of the space and the time as well. Next, please. Yeah, here you can see how many tests, how many percentage of tests we run pass and how many fail. Next, please. Yeah, for the preparation of the next sprint, we learn about automation, how to set our framework for the automation. So we install our Java, our Maven, our IntelliJ, our POM dependencies, and create a new project, create a feature file. As you can see on the right, this is our POM that we create our POM, and here we just need to add some dependency and move on to the new project. New project is Spring 2023. Next, please.
All right. The data analysts, they are unavoidably absent, so I'll be standing in for them. For the data analysts, they were able to work on some software, the Excel, the Tableau, the SQL. They also attended a daily stand-up and all the Scrum ceremonies. This is just the board showing their work in DA and DA done. This is a picture showing the work done on Excel. They were taught on how to use Excel, and they were given some work to do on them. And this is just a picture showing the work done. Also, this is the work showing some work done on Excel. They were just practicing some assignments given to them. And this is Tableau. This is a picture of the work done on Tableau, showing different interactive gifts. They just give them a work to practice on Tableau, and this is a picture showing it. And this is also another picture on Tableau showing the map of Europe versus customer scatter plots, as we can see. And this is SQL. This is also a practice that was done personally by the DA. Same year, this is a SQL query that was done by them also using a moment trading. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. That was a good one. And I'm really glad that nobody overran their time. That means we are getting more prepared for this. But next week, if we are going to be doing the individual presentation, I'm going to ensure we have more time for everyone to go through it. At least maybe like 1.5 minutes per person or almost 2 minutes per person, whichever. I'll let you know ahead of time. But this was a very good one and well done, everybody. Okay, so I'll stop this recording and start the next one. Thank you. Just bear with me.